Okay. Hi everybody. It's Ben. I'm here to do a swipe today. So I was super happy. I'm not using these for tonight, but my box of extreme sheens turned up. So I got a bunch of different colours, so I'll be using those soon. But not tonight. I am going to be doing a metallic swipe. I am using metallic lavender. So I haven't done one with just metallics. So I'm hoping it turns out pretty cool. Got metallic ocean blue. Metallic cyan. And this one is metallic diamond, which I presume it's a whitey colourish. It's not even a word. Kind of a white colour. But I'm just going to use plain black as the base. So the base, the black base is mixed 4:1 with floetrol. And this is also the Eraldo de Paulo black, same brand, just in the black. So that black is 4:1. And the colours that I have mixed up are approximately 2:1. I don't know if I've made them a bit thick, but I decided to put them in these little cups, and I actually can't mix it any more thinner because the cup's really full. So I'm hoping it turns out. And usually with metallics, you don't want to make them too thin, because then they lose a bit of their metallicness. Again, metallicness is probably not a word, but it's what I use. Sorry about that. So what I'm actually going to do now, I will be doing the black base, which what I do is I put it on. I'll start it, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing, because otherwise it's just a waste of you sitting there for ages listening or watching. So first of all, I put a whole bunch on. I usually leave a little bit in the cup just in case. Then I get my palette knife. Whoops, there's my gas bottle. And then you just spread it around. So I'm doing it a little bit rushed. So what I'll do is I'll do this all the way to the edges and over the edges. Then to even it out, then I just tilt it a little bit. But I find if I cover it first and then just cover it first, including the edges, then give it a tilt just to make this even. Then once I've done that, then I'll come back to do the painting part. So for now, I'll pause you and I'll come back once I've done the black base. Okay, so there's my black covered, and I have tilted it to get all the sides and the actual canvas even. The only thing I forgot to prepare earlier was my swipe cards. So I'm just using the swipe paint display cards. I'm going to use a few that are different sizes. So all as I do is I just cut some in half just to give me a slightly smaller shape. Round off the edges, so one edge isn't round and one edge isn't completely square. Doesn't have to be completely perfect, really. That's kind of the good thing about this art, it's a little bit forgiving. So I'm just about finished, and I've got my gloves off already, so that's all done. So I've got big ones and half ones. Now, I'm not too sure how much of these colours I'm actually going to end up using. I might have made too much up, but that was one good thing about using these little cups. They come with lids, so whatever I don't end up using, I can just put a lid on. So, being a metallic, I'm just going to give it a slight stir. And now just working out which way to do this. So I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to do a squiggly pattern. Oh, I hardly used any of it. That means I can do heaps more. Yay! It's the best thing when you end up not using as much paint as you thought. You got that paint for a new project. So my line's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. Now, which colour do I want to do next? I might do the purple. And so I'm just going to do a squiggly pattern. That's the thing with these. You don't have to make it perfect. As you swipe, you can kind of fix up any little things that you're not always happy with. I think I'm going to have a lot of paint actually once I've done all these three, so I might not put as much of this one on. Just going to go over it quickly-ish. And what I tend to do is, as I get closer to the top colour, I try and do the lines thinner, because that colour is going to be the more dominant colour anyway, because you're swiping it, because it's at the top. So if I do it thinner, that means that it's still, like, as you can see, a lot of the blue, especially over this side, it's already gone. So you're better off to do the bottom colour a little bit thicker and then reduce it. That's just what I find. I don't want a lot of this diamond colour, so I'm going to do that quite quickly as well. Now, the one difference I'm going to do tonight, I'm not going to swipe once this way, once that way, once this way, and once that way. Because of my tripod and all my equipment here, my light and all that, I find it hard to swipe backwards or towards that way. So I'm going to do all my swiping this way, spin it around, and then swipe towards me again. I also think I get better swipes when I swipe towards myself. So this is the fun part. Now make sure that you have your paper towels that you're going to wipe your cards on handy. Otherwise, once you start, you'll end up just messing up if you haven't got everything prepared. So, let's go. And with my plastic tray, I just wipe my card like this on the edge, and most of the paint comes off. And then I just wipe the rest on the paper towel. I find it works quite well to get majority of the paint off. These colours are looking pretty cool. Rippled. I don't like it when it ripples. I think that's because I try and do it too quick. Sometimes I'm like, oh, quicker, better, hurry up and do it, when I'm better off not to rushing it. I try and do them a bit wispy by doing them quick. But sometimes I get more ripples than I do actually wispiness. So I might do another big one now. I keep touching the canvas and getting dots of paint all over me. See how when I wipe it on the edge of the tray lid, I lose a lot of the excess paint? Alrighty. It's just a matter of doing whatever style you want, whatever order you want. So these colours are looking relatively nice. I don't know how it's going to look until they're dry. They do look shimmery a bit. Probably not as much as if you were to use quite an expensive metallic. But I brought these a while ago when I first started getting metallics, and it was like, I got to get them, and I still hadn't used them, so I thought I better actually use some up. So that one I wanted to go over the edge, but not with the whole thing. So I kind of tilted it, just lifted the card on one side. It's not as wispy as I would prefer. The ends they're stopping, but I wish they would kind of like disappeared to nowhere, if that makes sense. I know what I'm talking about. Don't know if I'm explaining it very well. Yeah, I'm finding when I'm letting go, it's still just kind of letting go on most of it all at once. But that's okay. And now the dreaded edges, which I can have difficulties with. We all have little things that we find become an issue with each of us, and I find edges can be my problem. They're the one area I'm more likely going to mess up than anything else. Okay, so I'm going to spin the canvas around. I can just pick the whole lid up and turn it around, but I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to do the canvas itself. And I'm going to get paint all over me. And look what I just did. I didn't drop any paint, but I moved my hands over my canvas again, which I keep telling myself I'm not allowed to do. So when you do stupid things, growl at yourself. Otherwise, you might not learn from your mistakes, or you might be like me and don't listen to yourself even when you're growling at yourself. If that makes sense. Okay, here we go again. So I can definitely see the shimmering now, or through this. It definitely isn't like they're ending, but I wish they wisped off a little bit to nowhere. But we'll see how it looks once I've done this side. And like I said, I just have fun. If it doesn't turn out exactly the way that I want it, it's not the end of the world. Now, edges, my enemy again, so we'll now Where did I put my big card? Oh, right here. It's right in front of me and I couldn't see it. So, yeah, I had a feeling this card was a bit bent. I must have picked it up funny or done something to it. So if your card bends and is out of shape and is not doing what you want, throw it out. Get another card. There's no point trying to bend it back into the shape that you want. You're just best to get another one. So because it's missed here, I'm going to do a little... I don't always like trying to fix things up. I have a habit of making things worse when I try and fix things. So I don't always like to do it. So this one, I want it to go all the way to the end. Is that what I want? No. I'm going to try and swipe again, but again, I shouldn't try to fix things. What I'm actually going to do is just move it across to this side, and I'm just going to come this one down. That's kind of fixed it. When I try and re-swipe an area I've done, I find I'm more likely to ruin it than to make it better. So now a new card because I threw that other one out. Not going to play around with things that don't play well with me. So I think it's because I hold it like this and I must pinch it in a certain way. So then when I turn it around, it's got that pinch mark in it. Much better. Yep. I like the way that one worked out. I do actually like using plastic when I do swipes, but I use these cards for the moment, but I am going to buy some plastic and cut that into smaller shapes so then I can do the ones that are like this size. So I can do this in the plastic, and all I have to do is just give it a wipe. I get these cards because they're a colour that they no longer sell, so it was not that I went and took a whole handful off the shelf. They were going in the bin because they were no longer selling this colour. I think I'm going to do one more large one here and then a small one at the end. Is this the end? Yeah. I'm quite happy with the colours. I have noticed that I haven't done that in the middle. But it's not the end of the world, really. No, I'm going to keep using my right hand. I don't want to mess it up by using my left hand. I definitely don't have as much control over what I'm doing when I use my wrong hand, so that's why I'm best to turn things around, put my body into the right position or the canvas into the right position, and not try and work using the wrong hand, because it doesn't usually work out, especially if you're someone that is like me. I'm extremely well coordinated with my right, very bad with my left. Like, not just because I'm right-handed I'm a little bit better. I'm 10 times better with this and really have no idea what I'm doing with this hand. So it's easier if I move the canvas, move my body, or do something on that lines to do the correct swipe. Because if you use the wrong hand and you mess it up, sometimes there's no fixing it really. Now I have, oh, here it is. Now I'm going to tilt it slightly and see if I can get that middle line down, but I don't think I'm going to, and I think I will end up stopping beforehand. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to lift it slightly. I don't believe that there's enough weight there for it to move correctly. No, I'm not really getting any movement whatsoever. So we'll give up on that idea. Now again, I've used the floetrol and I tilted the edges. So now I'm going to do an extra scrape because I don't want all this black drip marks to be left down there. There's a little bit here I could touch up on that one corner. Yeah, so you should always scrape the bottom of your canvas no matter what type of painting that you're doing. You just don't want, and I have moved this. There we go. Now I'm always trying to make sure I'm not leaning with my clothes touching the painting. I have done that a couple of times. So always double check the corners as well. Even though I tilted, this very corner has gone a little bit pale. You can just see the canvas slightly. But the other corners, they all look good, I think. Excellent. So, what do we think? Metallic swipe. Well, I don't know what that is. That a reflection swipe or a ghost swipe, or I don't know what they call it. I just know I'm swiping, so I call it a swipe. Clean off that. Okay, my hands are clean enough. I'm going to pause you and do close up from my side. Okay, there I go. That is my swipe. I wish the edges were a little bit more wispy, but they may dry a little bit more different. I'm not too sure, but I really like the colours. Their colours have turned out really well. So let's go in for a close-up and go on a slight angle. You can't really see metallic shining yet, but they definitely will once that dries, because I can see it in my own eyes, but not through the camera. But that middle's alright as well. That's one spot right in the middle of the camera there. That could probably have been a bit fixed, but it's not a big it's not really a mistake. It's just how it's turned out. But yeah. So this is swipe. I've tried to do different angles either way, going off the edges on some bits and not off the edges on others, and I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. I'm usually mostly always happy. I just like pretty colors. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you would like to see more, and leave comments if you have advice or tips or ask questions. I'll try and get to answer them. It's not always easy, but I'll do my best. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.